Yes, did you get one? Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice? Yeah. I know. Yeah. Yes. Come on down. Morning. You might as well be front first. Let's keep an eye on you. I'm good. How are you? That's right. We are in a good place. We are in a good place. I know. Oh my God. I was reading about California, how many earthquakes they're having. They're having earthquakes like, well, not big ones, but they're just like having all these, yeah, hundreds of earthquakes in the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Come on, Dan. Grab a handout. There's name tags. For now. I got some more later. Did anybody need a handout from last week? Okay. Those were the handouts from last week. You're welcome. Yeah, I gave you one, and this was another handout from last week. Yeah.
Want to go on the other side? We can walk down that way.
The last
Yeah.
two sessions are online, so you can use those to follow along.
How's that? Sure.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Just a couple more minutes and we'll get started. Another beautiful day in the neighborhood today. No, I don't know if I'll ever get tired of sunshine. I don't think I ever will. Did you grab a handout? There's handouts on the table. Handout on the table, out front, and name tags. There's handouts, Karen, on the table, out front.
Hey, Gail.
There's handouts on the table and name tags on that little white table there. You're all so very quiet this morning. Some of you, at least for a while. Yeah, that should change. That should change here. Get going. Yeah, oh, not for long, I know. Oh, okay. Come on down. Still coming in there. Hello, hello, come on down.
Friend with me, so you can take 2 seats and I'll sit right here. Good to see you. Huh? Good to see you. Nice to see you. Pretty people. Are you feeling better today? Okay. So did you get my book by text? Yes, I did. 3 of them. So this is my friend Sandy Hallowell. And this is Karen Nestle. Yeah. Oh, shoot. How'd that go? My phone is ringing.
Alrighty, we are gonna get started. People grabbing handouts. Uh-oh, everybody turn your phones on. Put your phones on silent. Yeah. All right. Well, again, good morning. It's good to have you here this morning. How many of you are new this week that haven't been here before? Oh, good, good. We have quite a few. There are handouts from last week up here. So if you, before you leave, if you grab, I'll make sure you grab one of those so you can catch up on the online sessions, because they are, both the last 2 sessions are posted online now. But let's get started with a little bit of a devotion. We have, this session is called Making Difficult Decisions. Anybody feel like they have to make some difficult decisions? Like every day? Yeah, every day. So I'm going to just read a few passages that will help us kind of get that framework going here this morning. This first passage is from the letter of James, which, you know, Luther didn't like James. Do you know why? Doesn't talk enough about grace. It has too much works righteousness in it for Luther, but there's a bunch of good stuff in James anyway, so we're going to read from James. So this is from the first chapter, beginning at the 2nd verse. James says, "My brothers and sisters, whenever you face various trials, consider it all joy, because you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance. And let endurance complete its work, so that you may be complete and whole, lacking in nothing. If any of you is lacking in wisdom, ask God, who gives to all generously and ungrudgingly, and it will be given you." That's good news. And then from Psalm 32, verse 8 reads, "I will instruct you and teach you the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Do not be like a horse or mule without understanding, whose temper must be curbed with bit and bridle, else it will not stay near you. So don't be a horse. So don't be a mule. And then finally from Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not rely on your own insight. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Again, very good news. Let us pray. Loving God, you have shown us that you will lead and guide us. You are the source of all wisdom and knowledge. And so, Lord, when we are making difficult decisions, decisions about our lives, about our health, about our where we're going to live, or what we're going to do, please just, Lord, fill us with your Spirit, that we might make decisions that are not only good for us, but that also honor you. We ask all of this in Jesus' name. Amen. So today, making difficult decisions. So I found some advice. If I can get this going here. There we go. Nope, that was last week. We don't want that one. We want this one. So advice on making difficult decisions. I love the first one. Don't be an ostrich. How many of you have put off making decisions, thinking, oh, I don't have to worry about that right now. I'll think about that tomorrow or next week or next month or next year. So this comes from a book by Dr. Roseanne Leipzig called Honest Aging. It's got a lot of good stuff in it, but that's her advice. Don't be an ostrich. Be prepared. Think ahead. Think about concerns early and often. So when those things come up, when you have a question or something comes up in your mind, deal with it. Deal with it then and continue to look into all the possibilities. Involve family members, or I might also say good friends, close friends, because they can help you. They can help you by not only maybe letting you bounce ideas off of you, but also they can guide you with perhaps wisdom because they've been there maybe already. Exercise patience, practice listening skills. Reach out for help. That's a hard thing to do when we're facing some of these things. We don't want to admit we need help, first of all, right? We want to believe that we can do it all ourselves. But we need to reach out and ask for help when necessary. And finally, never say never. I've heard too many people. I was visiting with a couple the other day, and they said, we are never going to leave our home. We're never going to leave our home. We're going to stay here. We're going to age in place. And then she fell and broke her hip. And he already had some debilitating illness. And now they're like, now what are we going to do? And they were so certain that it was never going to happen to them that they never even thought about plan B. So now it's going to be a lot harder to implement plan B. So never say never. So today we're going to look at a couple of things that we face as we get older. And the first one is to drive or not to drive. My mother, when she was 91, she was still driving. Thankfully, she was living in the small town of Bisbee, and of course, she'd lived there for 66 years. So she was pretty well ingrained in all of the streets, and everybody knew her. And she would drive pretty much only to the senior center to go wee bowl and back home, or to church. And I had gotten her to not drive like to Tucson and Phoenix for meetings, which she used to do all the time. But and she had one bad leg and she couldn't hear. And anyway, she was still driving, making me very nervous. And so I said, well, why is it that you really need to drive? And she said, well, I have to drive all the old ladies to church. I'm like, they're older than you? I talked to some of those old ladies at her my mom passed, and I talked to some of her friends who said, "Oh my goodness, it was amazing how everybody kind of got sick or had a cold or had another appointment when it was mom's turn to drive." So she finally couldn't drive anymore once we moved her out of her home and here into an assisted living place. But she definitely was one who should not have driven. So I have a little handout for you. Maybe somebody could help me hand these out. Thank you. Could you hand me it on this side? These are some questions to ask yourself about when it might be time for you not to drive anymore. So if you have a pen or a pencil handy, you can do this right now. I'm going to give you just a few minutes to look at those questions. These questions came again out of that book, On the Staging. But they were also questions that came out of some suggestions from AARP and the National Institutes of Health, but you can find them in that book, On the Staging. I'm going to give you, by the way, at the end of these sessions, I'll give you an entire reading list of all the books that I've taken things from and the things we've talked about. So just take a few minutes, look at these questions, and see if any of those ring true for you. It didn't say how many of them mattered, if you have 3 or more, or 5 or more, or I have hit a few curves in my day. Well, that isn't on there, but that is probably a good one too. My husband told me that one of the keys to marriage is when you get married, you get a lifetime driving instructor. Because I'm really good at pointing out everybody else's driving problems. Yeah, we ride their red cars, exactly. They told me actually one time, my first new car was a red station wagon. It's when my kids were little, and it was one of these wonderful wood-paneled, Chevy, brand new wood-paneled station wagons, which of course we let our kids ride in the back without seatbelts or anything. But they told me when I bought that car, they said there are more accidents with red cars than any other color car. And red cars are ticketed more than any other car. Yeah, so I have to always really be careful about putting my foot to my pedal to the metal, because I always figure if I'm the only, even if there were 14 cars speeding, they would pull me over because I've got a red sports car, right? So yeah, they're going to get me. My son-in-law had a license plate that said, "Hi, officer." He had a little sports car, and his license plate read, "Hi, officer." I thought that was okay, so any questions about this? Keep it handy. Yes, Jonathan.
It may be under, where is it? The cars or pedestrians seem to appear out of nowhere. Check your depth perception.
Yeah.
I was riding with my dad, and he didn't pull out, and he
Yeah. So depth perception does change, especially when you're wearing glasses and if you have bifocals or trifocals.
Well, along with the eyes and the depth perception is your field of vision. It kind of
Yes.
tends to narrow, so you don't see to the extreme right or left. So then they come out of nowhere.
Yeah. Appear to come out of nowhere. Yeah. Thankfully, my car has little lights on it that say somebody's passing you. Yeah. All those little aids are helpful. Okay, so keep this handy. Put it somewhere safe. And because there may be a day when you have to pull that out again and go, maybe I should look at these questions again. David?
AAA offers some help with the driving assessment, self-assessment.
Yeah.
Maybe even sort of refresher course.
They do. They have a refresher course. I know in Alaska they had a senior driving course. And that's what it was kind of a refresher on just things to look out for, things to watch. And that would be helpful.
And if you take that, many times your insurance company will give you a discount.
Lower your rates. That's always good too. Good. Okay, so keep that handy. So that was one difficult decision that we have to make at some point in our lives, right? Whether we're going to drive or not, and whether it's safe to drive. I had a lovely man in one of my first congregations who had a little difficulty just navigating life. Anyway, he was getting older, and his children let him drive as long as he promised to only drive from his home, which was like 6 blocks from this church, to the church and back. Well, that didn't happen one day, and he got off and decided to drive. I don't know where he was going, but anyway, he was driving somewhere downtown and finally made his way back to the church, and he came in very agitated, very upset. And I said, "What is wrong?" And he said, "Everybody was yelling at me and honking at me, and I was so afraid." He said, "I got so nervous driving," and I thought, oh my goodness, no telling what was going on with his driving. Thankfully, he made it back to the church, at which time I had to talk to his son and say, I think it really is time that you just take the keys away. And he agreed. His father agreed at that point. But we don't want people getting injured, and we certainly don't want people to get agitated and nervous and afraid when they're driving. Not good. All right, so we're going to look at another issue that we all are going to face, and that is to move or not to move. That is the question. So there are, and I've given you a kind of a larger handout this time. I gave you a larger print because these are things to look out for and realize that perhaps you need to be considering it. So if you're planning to stay at home, one of the things is home safety. So if you are going to try to stay at home, these are things you need to look out for. To improve the lighting in your house so that things are well lit. You don't want to be walking into dark rooms or down a dark set of stairs. You want to have lighting that's good and you can see. Removing throw rugs. I had a lovely woman in a congregation one time. I was visiting, and she was always wearing these little scuffy slippers, the little with no back on them. And she had throw rugs on carpet. So she had carpet, and then she had throw rugs on the carpet. And while I was there, she tripped on a throw rug and fell. And I could not get her up. There was no way in the world I was going to get her up. We tried everything to get her up off the ground. I finally had to call 911, and she was very excited when the hunky fire department guys came, and she thought that was pretty cool. But but we don't want to have to do that very often. So, and you could definitely hurt yourself. So remove all those throw rugs and do not wear little scuffy no-back slippers. Install grab bars. Yes, David? No, I was just going to say these are just things to
Get night lights.
Oh, night lights, yes, definitely.
Get some that go on and off automatically.
Yep.
And make a difference. Don't
They
let it go
definitely
back
do.
in the dark.
Yep, They
Both
definitely
those
do.
are Big cause of fall, so you break a hip and then you gotta move.
And then, yeah, exactly, then
And to
you're
help
done
all
for.
this, I think Golden Ranch Fire District offers a free service. They'll come out and assess your home for
Ah,
all these points here.
awesome,
So
awesome,
I
yeah.
think they still offer that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, so I install grab bars, especially if you have like step downs. I know in my mom's house, they had added on, so there were rooms with these little, just like small step downs. And I was always afraid she was gonna trip over one of those little step downs. So we install grab bars everywhere, and then of course in the bathrooms. And raised toilet seats help too, if you're staying in your home, those help. Always check your smoke detectors, have those checked often, also your carbon monoxide detectors, so have those checked. Make sure that you have access to everyday needs. There are a lot of adaptive devices you can get, things that can help you hear better. If you have a little hearing problem, you can have, there's doorbells with lights, there's like those Ring doorbells where you can see who's there before you go to the door. So some of those adaptive devices are helpful. Are you able to use Meals on Wheels, where you have at least one good healthy meal delivered to you every day? Shower chairs are nice. Online banking and grocery delivery, those are very helpful too, if you're going to be staying at home. And then local support. Make sure you have somebody that checks in on you. We used to have sort of a buddy chain where the older folks in our congregation, we would have one, they were on a chain, somebody would start the chain, they would call, and if the person didn't answer, then somebody would check on them. And so we would do that like every other day, just to make sure that people were okay. You can do that with a friend, you can do that with family, and you can get a personal emergency device. So some people who who might fall easily or have dishes, you have one, and that's awesome. My mother had one. The Rotary Club actually gave her one, which was awesome. And so that, yeah.
If
Jonathan?
you have one of those, please use it.
Yes, yes. Don't let it sit on the counter somewhere.
No, again, my mother, she had one, and there were some instances where she should have pushed it, but she didn't.
Yeah.
And we had to have a counseling session.
Yes, that's what this is for, right? Yes, if you fall, if there's an issue, push that button. That's what it's for. And then locate an agency to provide any kind of emergency care. So make sure you have these agencies, you have a phone list, and you know where to call. Yes.
I have visiting angels,
Oh, yes.
and they would come Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they help me.
Sure.
They actually, when I got out of the hospital, they would be in the bedroom when I would shower and all of that. Now I only have them 2 days a week, and it's a wonderful source
It is.
of visiting angels.
And there are several of those kinds of agencies that will provide that kind of care. Yes.
Just a little aside, my brother owns Home Instead. That's
Home
the thing.
Instead, yes. And I have, yes, I
Yes,
have.
but also, the fire department will install a device outside your door. I had security doors, and so you have to buy the little thing, and it has a key in there that they can get in, so they don't have to break a window to get in. You have
Right,
security doors.
right. A little emergency
I have a
lockbox.
little emergency, I have
Yeah.
a security code in there. They're wonderful.
Yeah.
And
And
they
only,
also come and install smoke detector batteries.
yes,
For free.
yes. And only the fire department has access to that little box. David?
In Saddlebrook, Senior Village buys these and will sell them to you at their cost, and they will install the box. You still have to have the fire department get out and do the key.
Right, put
But
the key.
we will supply them to you for a price, and then free install. You don't have to be a member of Saddlebrook. We do it for the whole community.
For everybody.
So,
Yeah,
I know
that's
I lost my spouse and I had to have hip surgery. I said, I'm living alone.
Yes,
If I needed help, I don't want them to break my door down, so
right.
I had one put in.
Yeah, those are great. Susan?
My landscaper was concerned about the cracks in the sidewalk and driveway.
Yes.
And so he said you can asphalt in those cracks and fill up the cracks, because he said that's the number one reason elders fall.
That's a very good point, yeah, to make sure that you don't have sidewalks that are not even and that there aren't cracks that you could trip over. Jane?
I also want to say that Visiting Angels is covered by Medicare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've given you a few of those places to check also. And then there is a service that's called Autumn Sage Pathways. It's a free service. You can contact them, and they can also provide support and direction on making those kinds of decisions. Yes, David?
Oh, you're talking about transition.
Yeah, this is a new one. Autumn Sage Pathways, the woman who runs it is a member here, and you can contact them and they will kind of help you make those walk you through some of those decision making.
As far as getting around, the church is offering rides.
Yes,
So you can call the church office and see what that's all about.
yes, exactly, yes. And if there's rides to church, rides to medical appointments, those kinds of things, as does Senior Village too.
Also, isn't there a sun shuttle?
Sun Shuttle also, yes, can get you to and from places. So to move or not to move, these are some points to consider. And then these are some, I've given you some contacts there. One is for Home Instead, and then for Senior Village. Seniors Helping Seniors is also another one. And then Saddlebrook has a new agency where you can buy in, I believe. You buy a membership. It's called Stay at Home Solutions, and you can buy a membership, and then you can either have maybe people buying shopping for you, coming in once a week to clean. There's all kinds of options that you can have with the Stay at Home Solutions, and it's a membership kind of a program. You buy into. It's not expensive. It's very reasonable. But if you decide that you want to move into a senior living facility, I have someone who's going to talk to you about that today. So Hope Rivera has been a member here since 2021. She's lived in Tucson since 1993. She lives in Oro Valley now, and she's worked as a senior living as a director of sales for over 13 years in several of the communities in this area. So she has an extensive knowledge on living options, and also wants to talk to you about when the right time might be, what some of the current costs are, the differences between a buy-in and just a rental, what you might look for in terms of long-term care, available veterans benefits, and all those other resources, and she's here to answer lots of your questions. So I'm going to ask Hope to come on up. Let's welcome Hope.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today. So some of you know me. I'm Hope Guevara. I've been part of the church for a long time. I've actually just been nominated, I guess, or voted into council. So I'm excited to be part of the church council. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So I've been part of the senior living world here in Tucson, going on 14 years, so a long time. And my job is to meet with people just like you or your children who are looking to make some changes. So I do this every single day. And my favorite part is when people tell me, everyone here looks so old. And I love it. I'm like, that's great. I love your attitude and your joy in life. And I think, these are tough changes or tough decisions to make. Everyone loves their home. Everyone wants to stay, especially if they have that great mountain view, all those things. But what I tell people is, your home is not going to take care of you, right? Your granite isn't going to take care of you, and all these different things to consider. Making this decision, everyone that lives in these communities, and I call them communities, not facilities, because a facility is more of a hospital, and we are not. We are really communities. And, they all offer so much. Everyone that lives there has been through what you're going through, right? So you have definitely a lot of people that understand what you're going through and are welcoming and are friendly. So there's really nothing to fear there other than the fear of the change, right? Making that change. So there's lots of different options, especially here in Tucson. There's so many different options. And so what are those options, right? They're standalone communities, which could be just independent living. So just an only independent living, let's just say, I think it's called Desert Springs up on Lambert. They only offer independent living. And then there is a place like Watermark down the street, or they're assisted living and memory care only, right? Then you have Oro Valley, Brookdale. That one is only memory care. So there's all these different options. And then, of course, there's the small care homes. So what are those, right? So the small care homes typically are 5 to 10 bed, and they're very medical. They're not really a community, I wouldn't call that. You know, you have the same person that takes care of you is also cooking your meals, and so it's a very different concept. And I've never worked in one of those, so I can't really speak of those. I've only worked in larger communities. So I've worked at ones that usually offer all levels of care, whether it's independent living, to assisted living, to memory care, and in some cases even skilled. And what does that mean? So when you're looking for something, Susan over here was asking me, do I just go to memory care? Do I just go to assisted living? Well, it all depends on what your needs are and where you're at. And I think a lot of it is you want to be able to make that decision. You know, a lot of times if you wait too long, it's a crisis, then your children have to get involved. If you don't have children, it's your fiduciary or whoever you've put in charge of your care. And now it's a crisis mode, and you may go somewhere where you don't want to be. And so it's really nice to, even if you're not ready, to start kind of looking, getting some ideas, and saying, okay, I know that this place I like this place, I like the way they look, I like what they offer, and this is where I would like to be when the time comes. Or have a couple of choices. There's some places too that are full all the time, and so you have a longer wait list. So you may have to wait for the apartment that you like to become available. So there's independent living, there's assisted living, there's memory care. So those are the 3 type of senior living options that I will be speaking about. And again, like I said, there's communities that are just doing one thing, or communities that can offer all levels of care. So if you move into a community that offers all levels of care, then as you aging in place, we're talking about that, right? You might start as independent living, and then as things change, you can add services. So whether you need assisted living or if you need to go to memory care. Memory care typically is a locked community because, we want you to be safe, and so it is a whole different environment than what you might be, used to with independent living or assisted living. But at that point, you may not care anymore, so it's okay, right? So that's important to know, the differences. What is a rental? What is a buy-in, right? So those are some questions you might have as well. A rental is a month-to-month. So you don't have to come up with a big chunk of money, whether it's $500,000, $1 million, or whatever, these different communities. There's usually 2 that I know of. There's only 2 in Tucson that are buy-ins, and that would be Splendido and La Posada. All the rest of the other communities in Tucson are all monthly. And so it's a smaller amount, anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 might be all that buy-in, that monthly amount would be, or that community fee would be. And then after that, it's a monthly fee based on what your apartment size is and what kind of services you're getting. And so all of the rest of them are all just a monthly community. That means that you can move out easily with just a 30 or 60-day written notice. And you don't have to be physically or financially, you don't have to get checked for your physical or your financial. If you go into a monthly, because you're only paying monthly, they don't need to know that you have the millions of dollars or whatever to pay, as you're going forward. And I say millions because it is a lot of money. These places are, and if you're going to be there for 10 years, that could be that. So what's the difference between a buy-in and a monthly community? With a buy-in, what you're buying is a long-term care policy, okay? So that's why you have to be physically and financially fit to start living in one of those communities, like I said, Splendido or La Posada. And the reason is that you start as independent living, you're buying in whatever that amount might be, and they are risking, they're basically putting an insurance policy on you that you're going to be healthy for a long time. And then, but when you need assisted living or you need memory care, they're going to be able to care for you. And they'll move you down the line into those different, those separate communities as you need more care, okay? Typically, and again, I can only speak of one, I only worked at Splendido, I did not work at La Posada, so I don't know exactly how La Posada works. But with Splendido, let's just say that you're in an apartment and you're in a 2-bedroom apartment and it costs you $5,000 a month to live in that apartment. When you need more care, assisted living or memory care, you're only going to pay that $5,000 that you were paying when you were in your independent living. So the rate isn't going to increase as you go down the line in care. With the monthly, that's different, okay? So that's the biggest thing, and the reason that they do that is because, again, you've paid into this policy. If you run out of money, then your policy will kick in, and then that will start paying, and also that amount of money, that chunk of money that you put in the beginning will start to pay for whatever the difference is. So when you either move out or you pass away, your estate is going to get less than what you were supposed to get because they're now paying for that care. Does that make sense? Any questions there? Okay. Yes?
Just one question. Years ago, friends went to Splendido.
Yeah, let me get you the mic.
Let's use the mic.
I'm going to get you the mic so everybody can hear you. I think we're also recording, right?
Years ago, my friends went to Splendido to look around, and they were told they had to have a long-term policy in effect. Has that changed?
That has changed. That is not accurate. No, no, they do not need to have a long-term policy to live there. No. So that's a good question. So no, what you're buying is a long-term policy when you're moving into a place like Splendido, like a buy-in. Okay. Good question. Any other questions on that? Yes.
Can you estimate what the buy-in would be for one person? Or
I cannot because every community is different, and they all have changed their pricing. Pricing changes every year, sometimes every couple times a year. So no, I do not know. When I worked there last, which was in 23, I think the minimum buy-in was like $300,000 or $400,000, and that was for a 1-bedroom apartment. Okay, but I don't know what those fees are anymore. And they do check to make sure that you have enough money to live there, so that you do need to provide all of your tax statements and all your financials. You have to have a doctor's order that you can live there, so it's a big deal. And if you wait too long, you may have waited too long, and you then can't move into a place like Splendido or like La Posada. Let me get your mic.
I don't think I need it. Well, we visited La Posada, and actually visited all of them. And La Posada is very, very new, right down the road. They do not have assisted living yet.
Correct.
So
Correct.
I know it's a couple of years to go.
Yeah.
You're taking a chance.
You are. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's right. They are brand new, and they think, from what I've been told from La Posada, they're about 5 years out before they finish the rest of the community. So yeah. So that's kind of the buy-in thought. Then the rest of the communities in Tucson, which are a lot, they're monthly. So like where I work right now, we offer independent living, we offer assisted living, we offer memory care. We also have skilled available at the community that I work at. And it's a month to month. So there, and like most of the others, you do what's called a one-time community fee. Ours is $3,900. Some, like I said, are $4,000, $5,000, $2,000. I mean, they're all a little different. And then you just pay that one-time community fee. That's it. You don't have to we don't check your financials. And if you're independent living, we don't check medical. We don't do anything medical. You're basically living there independently. But you can move in directly into assisted living or into memory care. You don't have to have have been there prior before you can be moved in. And a lot of people think that's a misnomer. A lot of people think, oh, I got to start in as independent living. You do not. You can move in as assisted living or as memory care if you need that, okay? And what do these places offer, right? One of the big things is we end loneliness. That's part of what our resurrection, code is, right? We want to end loneliness. And so, you're living either alone because you've been widowed, or maybe you've never married and you're alone, or you're with your spouse, but it's just the two of you guys, right? And so if you're not doing a lot of things and you're not active, that's going to that's going to bring in a lot of things. It's going to bring illness. It's going to bring maybe some memory loss, all of those things. And we know that. The church has known that, and we've been trying to, end loneliness. That's our mission, right? And so living in one of these communities, you don't have to participate, but there's a lot of things you can do if you want to participate. We're never going to make anyone do anything. But now I have a great story. I have Miss Melinda over here, and you don't know this story, so I hope you don't mind that I share. But I helped Melinda and Bruce move into their current community, and my friend Sarah works there as well. And she sent me the sweetest picture of Melinda dancing during happy hour, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome!" And she was in tears, and I was in tears, and we were so happy for you, Melinda and Bruce, and we were just so happy. So there's just a lot you can do at these communities. There's everything you can think of. And you don't have to stop what you're doing. If you're still doing other things, if you still come to Art by Heart here at Resurrection, continue to come to Art by Heart. But there's just so much that you can do at these communities that can keep you busy, can keep you active, can keep you healthy. There's lots of exercise. They have gyms. They have pools. They're beautiful, beautiful communities. Nutrition, right? We provide your meals. Again, all of them are a little different. Some provide just 1 or 2 meals a day. Some provide all 3 meals a day. Our apartments have full kitchens. Most apartments that are independent have full kitchens. So nutrition, you don't have to worry about Meals on Wheels or eating frozen food from Trader Joe's, all those things that I hear all the time. And so you would have great nutritious food that's healthy for you and lots of choices. Yes, people complain about the food, and I think, let me talk about that a little bit. Yes, Susan? Well, all of them, for the most part. All of them. When I say we, I'm talking about the senior living, just in general. So because all of the communities, if they're independent living, assisted living, or memory care, are going to provide all of these things. But I can certainly tell you where I work. That's fine.
We've been around.
Mm-hmm.
Checked. One of the complaints we hear from the residents,
It's the
even
food,
the
yeah.
administrators, is the food.
Yeah.
plans. The plans, not the food.
Mm.
So the food's great, but some offer 1 meal.
Right.
Some offer 2.
Right.
Some, you can buy different plans.
Right, yeah.
And then there's some that you get meal credits.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you can play with that, and it gets very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
And it detracts from the pleasure of it.
Yeah, so that's one of the things you want to look at when you're making those decisions, because every community is different. Like the one I work at provides all 3 meals. The one that I think Melinda lives at provides all 3 meals, right? Yeah.
We looked at a lot too when we looked, and where we live, they provide all 3 meals plus a whole bunch of snacks, and they're healthy. Like there could be fruit. There's desserts too, but there could be fruit, vegetables, and you do sandwiches. So if you don't like what's on the menu that day, you go get something else, or you can't get out to get something.
Yeah.
It's very easy. But three meals every day and snacks, plus you have a full kitchen. You can cook if you want.
Right.
That's why one of the reasons I live there. I don't want to cook.
Right. So that's the reason you want to shop around, because they're all a little different. Yes.
I didn't hear where Melinda lives.
You didn't hear where Melinda lives. Melinda.
I live at the Country Club of La Jolla.
Okay, thank you.
So all communities are different, but they're going to offer some kind of a meal program, right? So whether it's breakfast and lunch or dinner, that's usually what they offer so many, 15 meals a day or things like that. But that's where you need to shop around and look, because if that's super important to you, then you want to go to some place that maybe offers all 3 meals, or they don't, they might offer breakfast and lunch or dinner, but every day, not just 15 meals a month. So so that keep an eye on that. But I do want to talk about nutrition a little bit, or about food, because as we age and as we change, our taste buds change, medication can change the way food tastes, maybe the way our, maybe dental work, things like that. So, to me, something that might be really, really salty, you might think doesn't have enough salt, right? So, I mean, they have to please 300 plus palates, if you think about that, right? Depending on how big this community is. Some of the communities are smaller, but if you think about it, they have to please a lot of palates. So one day you may really like the soup, and the next day you may not. So just kind of keep that in mind. Have a little grace when it comes to that, because I may think the food's delicious, you may think it's delicious, and you might say, this is the worst food I've ever had. And it's just because, your taste buds do change, whatever medications you're on change, if you're not feeling well, or if you're going through something that could change the way food tastes. And that's another reason why older people like sweets. So they love their desserts, they love their ice cream, and so we provide a lot of great sweets. Yes?
We found that a lot of these places have risen to the occasion. They have a nutritionist on staff or consulting, so you're getting the right nutrition.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, who come up with new ideas all the time.
Yes.
Keep it different.
Yes.
So I think they all compete that way.
Yes, yes. So for the most part, the bigger companies like the Grace Management, the Brookdales, the Atris, the Watermarks, they do have, as part of their corporate, they do have nutritionists, they have the chefs, they have menus and things that they create. So yes, those places do have that type of thing available, so that they're providing the best, nutrition for you. We talked about when not to drive, right? And I tell people, we have a lot of people that's come into our community that still drive, but you don't have to drive if you don't want to. And that's what I tell people. If you don't want to go, if you're not feeling well, and you have a doctor's appointment, the last thing you want to do is go drive to your doctor's appointment if you don't feel well. So let us take you, right? So that's another plus that you get from living in a community. They can take you to your doctor's appointment. They can take you shopping, to errands, go to Costco. Who wants to, brave Costco traffic, right? You let the transportation take you. They go on field trips. I call them field trips or outings, whatever, but they're fun. They go to the museums, they go to the symphonies, to the plays. So all the things that you still enjoy doing, those things are still happening at these communities. They really are. And you let other people take care of all of it, right? It's like going on this trip to Germany. I'm just going to get on the bus and on the plane and let everybody else handle it. I don't need to worry about it. It's like, where are we going next? Same kind of thing, right? You just get on the bus and you go and have some fun, right? So I call them the director of fun. The people that plan all of these activities and programs. There's just a lot of that, but transportation is included in all of these communities that you would choose from, because we want you to be safe, and we want to offer you a lot of options. Safety, we talked about that as well. So again, these apartments have been created with you in mind. They already have the bars, they already have the taller toilets, they already have the wider doorways. So again, this stuff's already been done for you. It's really, really amazing that you just can leave your home and go somewhere where it's already taken care of. They have the pull cord. Some places provide the buttons. Some places, they have concierge 24/7. So if you need something, you can call. For the people, again, that are single, instead of doing that phone tree, right, we're already there. The phone tree's already there. There's a little button that you press, or every community has a different way of doing the daily safety, but you get a daily safety check, right, to make sure you haven't fallen or something hasn't happened overnight. And if it does, we are there to take care of you, and we will call 911, and we will call your family, and we will let them know what's going on, so people aren't worried and concerned as to what's happening here. Home maintenance. Who's tired of that home maintenance, right? I mean, my gosh, I think we all are, right? So all of that's taken care of for you. I remember, how I kind of came into this industry. I've been in sales my whole life. That's all I've ever done. But 14 years ago, right? I'm pulling out of my driveway, and I see Mr. Lauren. He's probably your age. Mr. Lauren is up on a ladder, and he should not be up on a ladder, going up to the roof, and Miss Patty is down below holding the ladder, and I just put my car in park, run in the house, wake up my husband. I'm like, you gotta go get Mr. Lauren down off that ladder. and go do whatever he needs. And so he did. He went and took care of it and took care of Mr. Lauren, got him down off the ladder. But I'm just like, oh my gosh, really? You don't need to be on a ladder. So we do all of that for you. I don't need to be on a ladder, right? We do all of that for you. All of the home maintenance, all of the air conditioning, the landscaping, the pool, everything, whatever you can think of. We do it all for you. So you don't have to worry about it. It's as easy as putting in a work order. Next day it's taken care of, right? Yes, sir.
That's another consideration. You're sitting here monthly, but it's $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. Where are we going to get that money?
Well,
But I think they have to, they always give you a little sheet, write down your expenses to maintain your home, your overhead versus the monthly. You start looking at your insurance, your maintenance, your HOA fees, all the things you pay now, like
Right.
electricity.
Right.
And it starts to narrow the gap.
Right.
It's not as frightening as you might think.
Right. Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet, but yes, you're right. Yeah, you're right. So home maintenance, landscaping, all of that. So housekeeping. Housekeeping is, again, some are weekly, some are every other week. Again, every community is different. Weekly housekeeping with linen service. So for the most part, they all also do your linens and your towels. And I'm talking mostly independent living. In assisted living memory care, there's a whole lot more that's included. But this, for independent living, they do your linens, your towels, change your sheets for you, do all of that, and bring them back nice and laundered, and in some places even ironed and ready to go for the next time you have to put them on your bed. Yes, utilities are all included for the most part, all utilities. Some places include cable, some places include cable and internet, some places, it's just, again, they're all a little different. So, but most of the utilities are included as well. So, I mean, it's like living in your home. It's not your home, but it will be, right? It's your new home. It's something to think about. And I mean, like I said, I talk to people every day. I see all different kinds of situations. And I have been working with this one couple for a long time. I actually started with them at Country Club of La Jolla, and then they moved over to where I was at Brookdale. And they came to see me, and she would be like so close to signing the contract, and then she'd back off. And next time she's so close to signing the contract, she backed off. And she ended up passing away. It was really sad. She passed away, in her home just after Thanksgiving. And the other day, this just happened this month actually. The other day, Bill's at the front desk, and they're calling me. Hey, hope you have somebody at the front desk for you. I go out and I see Bill, and I'm like, oh, Bill. And I kind of knew Susan wasn't with him, so I kind of knew something was going on. Either Susan was in rehab, or maybe she had been placed, in an assisted living or something. So I gave him a hug, and he came to tell me Susan had passed away. I'm getting emotional, because I do love all of my residents that I work with. But anyway, so I gave him a great big hug, and I said, what's going on, Bill? He goes, we should have moved in, because now I'm by myself with memories. And I'm like, yep. So we found him an apartment, and he's moved in, and we're really happy. So those are the kind of great stories that we have. But this is what I do every single day. And you think about, yes, the cost. So what does something like this cost? Okay. Well, again, it's different everywhere. But if you're looking for, I would say they start at about $3,500 a month and can go up to about $6,800 a month or more, depending on how big an apartment you want. It's really based on, the price is all based on the apartment. And if you want that mountain view, or if you want, a different view or something like that. So that kind of gives you an idea of what the costs are. Long-term care typically does not pay for independent living. Long-term care will pay, though, when you need care. So assisted living, memory care, or they might even pay for you to bring in home care, and you can get home care at these communities as well. Because this is your home. You think about that, it is your home. So you can get home care like Visiting Angels or Home Instead or any of these places, Beata, all these different companies can come into these senior living communities and care for you in independent living if you want that, or at that point also make the decision for assisted living. When do you need assisted living? Usually when you're really not able to manage your daily tasks, toileting, maybe dressing, your medication, those types of things. That's really when you want to consider assisted living. But that's about what the costs are. Veterans, so if you are a veteran and you served in one of the wars, I think right now they're even up to the first Iraq war, there is a benefit that you might qualify for. It is a financially based benefit, but you or your spouse, and if you're a spouse of a veteran that served in war, you may also qualify for this benefit. And it's called Veterans Aid and Attendance.
Yeah, my mother, we didn't know about this, and we kind of stumbled across it. My mother could not have afforded, without a lot of our assistance, to live in assisted living. But we found that veterans program, and they ended up paying $5,300 a month for her assisted living, and then finally into a hospice center. So it's amazing. It's not like out there published too much, but there are actually agencies that will help you fill out the paperwork too. So,
Yes. Veterans Aid and Attendance. Aid and attendance. And attendance. Yes, So you just apply through the veterans, and then if you qualify, then you get the benefit, and then you can pay out wherever you need it. Yes, someone had a question.
That's through the Veterans Administration?
Yes, but there are outside agencies that will help you. There's a fee, and they can help you fill out the forms and stuff.
Well, no, I'm just,
But yes.
given my circumstances, this is a nationwide.
Yes, it's a nationwide thing. It's through the veterans. Yes. Yes.
Often the American Legion or the veteran service organizations will help you with nobody.
Right. Yeah. There's ways to find it and ways to get it, and yeah, absolutely. But it's just a benefit to know that it's available. A lot of people don't know about that benefit, so it has nothing to do with any of the other benefits you already might have as a veteran. It's a completely separate benefit, and it's not only for the veteran, but also for the spouse of a veteran. Okay. Let me think. What else can I say about? Yes, sir.
Okay, a lot of people from Saddlebrook that we know in the Saddlebrook congregation have moved into Desert Springs or La Posada or All Seasons. And so you need to find out what they think about the place. You've got some people from this church that you can contact.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We always found it's good to talk to the residents because, of course, the salespeople are going to tell you how great it is. The residents will tell you what it's really like.
Right.
But fortunately, everyone we talked to was very happy where they are.
Right. Yeah. Yes, Melinda.
Well, I can say it took us a lot of thinking and a long time, and I was the person saying, let's go. And my husband, Bruce, it was hard for him. It was a big decision, but we're very happy, and he has realized since we moved that it was the right decision, and we're in the right place, and everything isn't great every day. I mean, you're in a different kind of community. It's an adjustment. But for the most part, people are so friendly. You can go to any activities you want to do. They feed you. They take care of you. Yesterday or a couple days ago was my husband's birthday, and the activities director, Carolina, she came over to our apartment with balloons and a card and everything, and said happy birthday to him. And I mean, they do special things like that. I'm sure all the places do
Right.
that. You just have to decide, which one. You have to tour
Yeah.
a number of them,
Yeah.
and then make your own decisions because they all have a little different things.
Right.
Linda should get a finder's fee.
Well, I like the
She
outdoors.
can.
I love the outdoors, and where we are has beautiful grounds. There's grass, there's trees, there's a dog park for my dog. They love dogs there. Our dog is just as happy as can be. He's doing agility in the dog park. So that, for me, that was one of the things that attracted me to this particular one. You want me to do the microphones because people in the back can't hear.
Also online, they won't be able to hear.
Sorry.
Online, they won't be able to hear.
Yeah, long they won't be able to hear. Sorry about that. And yes, if any of you do live in a community now, check to see, because you can get a finder's fee. I know the community I work at. I know Country Club. I know a lot of them. When I used to work at All Seasons, they had it too. I don't know. I think even Splendido has them. if you refer somebody to the salesperson and they move in, there is a little kickback that you would get. So yes, definitely, we want friends living together, right? Yes, hold on, I'm gonna use the mic, we have to use the mic, so, yes.
You mentioned transportation.
Yes.
Can you keep your car?
Yes, you can keep your car. No one's ever gonna take your car away or your keys. We won't do that, we'll let your kids do that. Any other questions?
Can I say something?
Yes. Well, online people.
I'll use the mic because then the people online can hear me. The first thing we talked about is don't be an ostrich. And those of you who haven't made plans, make your plans. My parents thought they were going to be in independent or live in their house until they had a car accident, and we had to move them into a facility. Thankfully, it wasn't an emergency type situation, but we had to act quickly. My wife and I learned from that experience, and we have made plans, but we are, as I say, we have a place to go, but our goods don't, because we're on a waiting list, but we don't know how long that's going to take. So apparently, from what Hope says, around here there are apartments, and we're not looking around here, that's the problem. But don't wait. Take all this to heart and start your thinking process, because it takes a while. Not only you have to decide what you want to do, but then where you're going, which facility best fits your needs, and then can you get in right away?
Very true. I deal with crisis situations every single day, and they're rough. They're rough to deal with, but I do work with a lot of crisis. And so don't wait. Yeah, make your decisions. Start shopping. Come see me. Even if you don't like the community. I just have 14 years of experience, and I think I've been a lot of resources to a lot of people. And I'm very open and very happy to help people. That's what I love to do. So yeah, let me if you have questions, come talk to me. Everyone knows how to reach me here at the church, and I'd be happy to just help you, walk you through it with you. I know most of the salespeople here, so I say if you go here, you're going to go to this place, go see this person, or you're going to go to that place, go see that person, because I know them all. And we all do a lot of the same stuff. It just depends on what it's offered. Some of them are bright new and shiny, and you might like that modern look, and some of them are older and shabbier, and you might like that more home-based look. It's just different. But everyone that lives there is wonderful. I have loved all of my residents. I think I was at one community for almost 7 years, and I knew almost 400 residents. I knew every single person's name. And that's how important you are to me. You are to a lot of the salespeople. So just start looking if you haven't already made your move. And please use me as a resource. That's really more than anything. And let your friends know, I'm here, I'm at the church. Call me, let me know what you need, and I'll be happy to help you. Again, even if you don't come to live right where I work, it's okay. I just want you to be safe, I want you to be happy, and I know the good places, I know the not so good places. I know the ones that are having challenges, and anyways, so any questions that you have for me? Otherwise, I think we're good. Did I answer your questions, I hope? Did I give you some good information? I have my personal business card. Yeah, I can give you my card. Yes, absolutely. All right, thank you so much.
As a personal note, you said think ahead, plan ahead, make these decisions. As a child who had to make these decisions for her parent, it's not something that you want your kids to have to do for you. It's so difficult. Yeah.
Just real quick, what I hear, so a couple things I hear a lot is this is a gift to your children. Doing this is a gift to your children. It really is, because you're already downsizing. You're already getting rid of the stuff nobody wants, right? And they're going to know that you're safe. The second thing I hear all the time, and I hear this all the time, I'm not saying this as a salesperson or anything like that, but they tell me I should have done this earlier. I really wish I would have done this earlier. Why did I wait so long? And another thing I hear a lot is that people do wait too long. They just wait too long, and they don't get to enjoy what the community has to offer, because they're coming in really sick. They're needing assisted living. They're in a whole different situation. So just kind of keep that in mind too.
Yeah, so true. My mother, of course, we had to move her during COVID. She had gotten COVID, and moving her into an assisted living during COVID meant there were no activities. And my mother she knew everyone in town. She was in every organization. She was in the church for years. And we moved her into a place where she could not even visit with anyone. Where they had to bring her meals into her apartment. And we had been trying to get her into an assisted living for years before that. But she wanted to be in her home. And so it was 2 years of chaos for us, not living near her and then having to liquidate all of the things in her home, which, we don't know. I mean, as kids, you don't know what's important. Take things that were important to her. So it was just a very difficult time. So do your children a favor and think ahead, plan ahead, let them know what your wishes are. Yeah. Okay, I am going to pass out two more things. This is a checklist. If you think you want to stay in your home as long as you can, this is a checklist of all the things to consider. And you can use this to look at all the ways in which you are prepared. What are the things you're going to have to think about if you decide you're going to stay in place? What if you're going to live forever? Yeah, I don't think any of us are going to get that wish, Carter. We are going to live forever, just not here. That's right. We're not going to have to worry about it. The next place we're going, Carter, we're not going to have to worry about how we're going to live. That's right. So this just gives you a way of sort of also brainstorming. Is this something we want to do? How long are we going to be able to do this? By filling this out, you have a clearer picture of how long you might want to think about staying in your home.
Well, we have 2 houses to sell.
And then,
When we moved to California, we're looking at my son, my husband, and I.
Bob Wells, they're not here today, he sent me a wonderful article that came out of the Wall Street Journal. We were talking last time about how important it is to find a purpose in your life, to maintain that purpose as we get older. And this article is it says, the retirement crisis no one warns you about, mattering. And so this is about how we maintain that sense of purpose in our lives, how we continue to matter. And so I'm going to pass that one out. It's a rather long article, but it's very good. I think you'll like it. And there again, if you were not here the first time, or if you did not get one of the books, because we did run out, I have more of the books by Billy Graham, Nearing Home. I've heard some of you have read this and have really, really appreciated it, really loved it. So I do have 10 more of those. So if you have not gotten your Nearing Home, we're not using it directly in the class, but it's just a wonderful inspirational book about aging. Thank you. Okay. Everybody get one? All right. Good deal. All right. So any just general questions you have for me? Melinda, yes, please, grab a mic.
Well, the whole loneliness thing, that Resurrection is working on,
since I've moved to La Choya, and I will say, truly, I am the youngest one there, which is okay with me. But my husband, Bruce, has Parkinson's, and he needed something different, and I needed help caring. I needed to ask for help, and this was my way of doing it. And I do get help now. He doesn't need extra care, but I don't have to cook and clean and do the maintenance, things that he couldn't do anymore. So it's great, but the loneliness part, I love seeing, when I walk in the dining room, there will be a whole table of widows sitting together every night. They don't have to eat alone. And if someone walks in alone, sometimes when we're eating, someone walks in alone, can I sit with you? You know, so you always, if you want, can have someone to sit with. Some people don't like that. Sometimes I want to sit by myself and I have a book. So I just love seeing that. And the other morning, I saw two people, their heads together with a book in between them, just sitting there. And I almost wanted to cry because I just saw that they have each other, and they just, whatever they were doing, reading a book, I'm not sure what they were doing, reading a book together, whatever. But you always have someone if you want someone to talk to. Yes.
Melinda. Hey, Melinda.
One more. Paula?
Something else I think that's important to consider is money. That is, trusts, wills, estates. Probably before a decision is made before you move. Because, you know, we're not going to live forever, and we want, whether it's a church, a person, you know, you have to decide on that. Because sometimes, if you don't make those decisions about the money you have, then who knows what's going to happen to that money afterwards.
That's right. Which is a perfect segue, because next time we are talking about finances. So, so next session, we have a financial planner who spent years doing that kind of thing, coming in to talk to us about estate planning, living wills, living trusts, all of those kinds of issues, those financial and things we don't like to think about sometimes, but all that stuff that we don't know, we may not know an awful lot about. So she's going to come in and talk to us next week. Okay. Jonathan. I think that's still on.
Find a purpose. I've been in the volunteer fire service for almost 60 years. When I moved here, there's not that opportunity. When I went back to my place in New York, I didn't have that opportunity for a while, and I really, really missed it. I was given the opportunity to join the local fire department back in New York, and at my age, and I'm pushing, you know, I'm well into the third 30. I accepted it. I don't fight fires. I'm on what they call a fire police squad. So I go out at accidents or whatnot, and I wave my little flag and direct traffic. But it has kept this purpose that I've had for a long time. And it can be photography, it can be art, but you can't sit around in your next place and do nothing or just watch TV. You really need to find something to keep your mind and your body active.
Yes, so important, so important. Susan, use the mic.
I have 3 children who are not interested in where I go. How do you approach your children in the decision making?
Well, I think as Hope said, the first thing is if you can make those decisions for yourself, make them for yourself, right? And then you tell your children what you're going to do. The problem is if you do wait too long, then they have to make that decision for you, and it may not be what you want. Yeah, and it may not be what is best for you. So
They do have people, I'm sure all the communities do, they have people that will assist you. Sometimes you have to pay a fee, but people that will help you move, that will help you pack, that will help you decide, what can I take from here? So if you don't have kids that, my kids aren't helping me, but we luckily have a special family here that helped us. But the communities have resources, so that is a good thing.
That will help you. Start here and then come around.
I have children, and I didn't know what they want or what they thought, and it was different.
Different than what you wanted, right? Yes, that happens.
The thought, ma'am, is not where you live, but as you age and can't do certain things like pay your bills, etc., who is going to do that? Now, I guess there are services that will take care of that, but if you're, doesn't matter where your kids, where you live versus your kids, but how, when you can't do certain things that your kids could help with, who's going to do that?
Yeah, and those of you who were in my death and dying class know that I have materials that we'll also give you next week called 5 Wishes that also deal with not only just end-of-life issues, but just who's going to take care of, who's going to make my medical decisions for me if I can't, who's going to make my financial decisions for me when I can't, where are the things, where are the papers that people need to find, all of those kinds of things, so that anyone can pick that up. Doesn't have to be a family member, but you can make those decisions ahead of time while you still can. Yes. Janet.
Several years ago,
Oh, Mike.
many years ago,
As Gary's parents aged, they waited too long, and 3 of the siblings lived here. We lived away, but I was able to come and help with that. And we found them a wonderful place, and they ended up being very happy. Again, it was a case of, I think that generation saw old folks' homes as sort of this institutional place, and they didn't realize things had changed. Gary and I decided, in light of our experience there, that the year we turned 80, and we did last year, we would start making those decisions for ourselves. And the first thing we did was have all of our legal papers updated, all of those. And so that they're in line, tell our kids about it. They have copies of those papers so they know what's what. And then we began looking for our next steps in our living situation. We loved our home, didn't necessarily want to leave it, but again, the upkeep and all of that, it was bigger than we needed, had a big uphill driveway to pull the garbage cans and things. Anyway, to make a long story short, we looked at a lot of different places, and next Tuesday we'll be moving into our apartment at Splendido. And we're doing it for our kids. They live away. We don't want to live in St. Louis or in Knoxville. Both are great places, but we don't like the weather. This is home for us, and all of our siblings are in Arizona. So anyway, it's just, we made a decision to be proactive. Part of us feels like, oh, we're not ready yet, but we're 80.
Better now than
We're not
you
getting
can't
younger.
do it yourself.
Yeah.
That's right.
And getting through all that, selling your house and getting rid of all your stuff is a big deal.
It's a huge
You
thing.
need energy. You still need to, it takes a lot out of you. So don't wait.
Been a lot of talk about getting your wishes down and out there and legal. I'm sure we'll be covering that next time, but just while you leave here, keep in mind that there are a lot of trust and estate attorneys in the area. They will give you a free consultation, so take advantage of that. It might cost you some money if you want to do a trust, but it's well worth it. At least you walk out of there with the knowledge of what issues are important, even if you don't go ahead with the trust.
That's
So
right.
it's good to talk to somebody.
Yeah, it certainly is. Eat that mic. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I've known 2 people
There we go.
that have been moved into assisted living or whatever by off-duty firemen. to older people who want to move.
What's the name of it?
Do you know?
I think it's off.
Is it called off-duty firemen? Off-duty movers, off-duty movers, or off-duty firemen. Yay. Yes, so next week we'll be looking at those kind of financial, not necessarily legal, because we're not going to have a lawyer present, but we are going to have the necessary paperwork for you to make some of those decisions. If you did not pick them up at the last Death and Dying seminar. I hate calling it Death and Dying seminar. We got to think of something else. Going home. We're going home seminar. I love that. That's a great idea. All right, any other questions? Things for the good of the order? Okay, make sure you pick up a book if you haven't. Everybody has all the rest of the handouts. And let me just close. I like to close with some humor. So I'm going to close with some humor. Why am I talking in this microphone? I bring my own humor. All right. So this is again from the fun book Joyfully Aging by Richard Bimler, which is amazing. So this is called Thank God I'm Old. Go ahead, say it out loud, or maybe just to yourself. Thank God I'm old. Let's all say it. Thank God I'm old. There we go. There, that wasn't so bad, was it? It can be difficult to thank God for our aches and pains, our new wrinkles, and having to visit the bathroom more often at night. However, at the same time, that does not take away from the fact that we are able to thank the Lord for this day as a new day to give away to others, starting with ourselves. Our culture gives us permission to shout out, thank God I'm young, at least much of the time, but it is much tougher to gain acceptance from our society to affirm that being old is also a blessing. Just take a look at the birthday cards on the shelves at your favorite grocery store. Here we have, in living color, mainly black and white, the strong message that birthdays, and therefore aging, is to be discouraged. Here are a few of my favorites. A large elephant is on the front of the birthday card. Open it up and it reads, birthdays are irrelevant. I disagree, Mr. Hallmark. Birthdays are very relevant because birthdays mark another circle around the tree of our life. They proclaim that the Lord is not finished with us yet in this life. On the front of it is a picture of a birthday cake topped with hundreds of candles. Open it up and it reads, please don't put a candle on your cake for each year of your life, because if you do, you'll burn the house down. Wrong again, greeting card person. Instead, let us encourage people of all ages to light up the world with the joy and lightheartedness that is ours in Christ, the light of the world. This one had a photo of an elderly person on the front, and the card says, ow. Open the card and it reads, welcome to the random pains for no reason years. This one says, the quote on the cover reads, I wouldn't call you old. On the inside it reads, but if you were a car, you'd be a horse. That's bad. Or one with a picture of a lady on the front that says, you're having another birthday? Inside it states, aren't you old enough yet? Large printed words boldly proclaimed on this card, we may be getting older, and on the inside it continues, but psychologically and mentally we are tarpus shacks. Sharp as tacks, yes. On this one, the front cover has a picture of a nice yellow banana with one word below it, yesterday. Open the card and on the inside is a picture of a spotted banana and the word today. The caption reads, being one day older only matters if you're a banana. I love that one. And one more, which is a prime example of the mixed message using good humor. The front says, did you ever notice that the older you get, the younger you feel? The punchline instead said, me neither. So So what is the point of all these cards and messages? Simply this: there is a very thin line in our society between laughing with older people and laughing at older people. Given the right attitude toward aging, some of the cards I've described here can be funny and appropriate to share with older adults. The point of our discussion is to discern what is the real message about aging in our society. Is it something to deny, to laugh at, or to forget it's happening? Or is it something to engage, encourage, and celebrate as a wonderful gift from God? I choose the latter. All right, so good to see you all. Thank you for coming. Next week, don't forget, finances. Yes. And thank you again, Hope.